Happy Friday, Keith.
Yes, sir. Happy Friday. We are here.
Yeah, we're here. We're here because we're here.
Where else would we be?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to like share, right?
Something like that.
Set a good example for folks. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, mine hasn't come up yet.
Mine did.
Yours did?
Yep. If you're watching us right now and you're on Facebook, there's a little arrow for share. Yeah, and if I click it, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Share. Share now.
Share with your friends and family.
Share with your friends and family. Yeah.
Got 10
Oh,
seconds
man.
left.
Another week. Another week.
A good one.
Good one. Yes. Awesome week.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Honor Bound IT's
intro.
weekly live stream
You
with
guys will
Greg
be
Fong,
on
your host,
the right side camera.
your co-host Keith Haskin,
On my camera.
on the bench with Jennifer Hall,
Yes. See, like right now.
and produced by Mr. Rogers.
Right about now. There you go.
Well. Greetings and salutations. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate that you come to visit with us on Friday afternoons for our weekly live stream at Honor Bound IT.
Exactly.
Yeah, what do you know, dude?
Well, it was a busy week. I know that for sure. We did a lot. Have a lot of things we want to talk to these people about. Let them know what's going on with us, and
Yep, that's right.
if there's anything that you want to know, I mean, we always try to engage. So if you have any questions or just want to say hi,
Yep, we got Spencer on the boards here. He's paying attention to the chat, and he'll let us know if you got any questions. Do post them in there or comments.
Of course.
Or smart ass remarks. We'll take those too, right?
Oh, yeah.
We like those. But yeah, make sure that you're going to hang around till the end because we do have like our weekly cat picture, because that's what the internet's for, right? And cat pictures and cat videos. And we also have meme of the week. And who gave us the meme of the week this week, Spencer?
This one came from Terry this week.
Terry, yeah, he's one of our faithful
Old Terry.
contributors.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, but first we're going to go into like the bench report here. Enjoy it. And now for the bench report with Jennifer Hall.
Or
hi everyone, welcome back to the bench report. I'm Keith, here with
got
Jennifer
about
again.
8 minutes on the clock.
And this week we had a couple computers come in, but there's really one that we wanted to focus on
No, that's
because we've seen it so much and we've had a big issue with it. And,
No, it's because
occasionally we get a lot more than usual, but I think it's always worth mentioning. What happens when people are a victim of a cyber crime. You see these tech support scams and things like that. So we actually want to talk about that this week. We want to talk about what a cyber crime looks like, and then what you can do to protect yourself or avoid it if possible. So like I was saying, we had a person come in and they had actually called the number on the tech support and let the person on his computer. They started doing things around, and then at the end, they asked him for a bunch of money. So, Jennifer, you want to talk about what these tech support scams look like when somebody sees it on their computer?
Well, it'll pop up and it'll say, do not turn off your computer, call this number, and it just starts yelling at you.
Yeah, there's this really loud, annoying sound. Either it's like a beeping or it's like a robot talking to you, just telling you that your computer's infected. The other thing is people, they can't get out of it.
Yeah, you can't exit out of it.
Yeah. And we have, advanced ways we can do it. But, if you're an individual at home, you can't click the back arrow to go back. You can't click the X to close the program. And, they even hide some of the other options. So it makes it very difficult to get that fixed. And then, yeah, like you said, they have that fake phone number to call, and, they have it in a little box, and it looks like it says it's from Microsoft. And, we can tell you from experience because, our business is a Microsoft partner, and we don't even have their phone number to call. They're not just giving it out to anybody, even their trusted support partners. So that's definitely another red flag that it's not Microsoft that's wanting you to call. It's a scammer. And so, we have a process, and we take care of these things all the time. But what's more important is, you know, how do you protect yourself? What should you do if this happens to you? And Jennifer, you want to speak about that and some of the things they should do to protect themselves?
Well, don't call that number. Is number one. I know that this guy, this is the second time at least that it's happened with him.
What's another important step? Especially if you um, paid the scammer or if you've even used your cards online. Something else you want to do. You want to talk about that?
You need to talk to your financial people, your bank, your credit cards, all of that.
Yeah. And it is hard for some people. I know it's slightly embarrassing and humiliating, but it's better to be honest in these situations because the last thing that you want is have your identity stolen, have your accounts compromised. You don't want people spending your money, on things that you didn't buy. So that's always important to let those financial institutions know, just so they are aware of what happened, and they can always take an extra look and make sure that there's no fraudulent activity on your accounts.
The sad part with this one is the guy, when I went to back up his favorites, his internet went right to bank information.
Yeah. So definitely, make sure that those accounts are protected. Another thing is updating your passwords. So, we don't know what they did or didn't do, what they seen or didn't see, but it's better safe than sorry in a lot of these situations. So if you have some accounts online, anything that you do, highly recommended to update those passwords on all those accounts. Just like I said, better safe than sorry. And going back to the cards, you know, the bank is probably most likely, or even the credit card companies are most likely going to cancel those cards. And then one of the biggest headaches I know, for me personally, if I had to do this, I have practically all of my like utilities and anything that I have to make a payment on comes out just auto pay.
Yep.
And so, if you got five, six, eight things coming out on auto pay and on that card, you'll have to go and set that up again. And that really is a time suck. And, you'll lose, probably a day or 2 days of time. Well, and not to
Yeah.
mention the time it takes to get a new card. Another, I guess something else that's worth mentioning is, what can you do to avoid this situation? And, there are a lot of things that you can do. We have a list of things, but Jennifer, you want to talk about some things they can do to avoid it?
Um, don't call out strange numbers. Uh, don't give somebody access to your computer.
Yeah, that's a big one. Definitely not giving somebody access, especially if you don't know who they are. You don't want a stranger snooping around your computer. They could possibly see account passwords, you know, private data, things like that, things that you just don't want people to see. So that's always a big thing, not giving somebody that you don't know, you don't trust, access to your computer. But like you said, unfortunately, this happens, and sometimes, unfortunately, happens twice. But you know, there are things that you can do um, to help if this has happened to you, and we do offer services to help people in these situations. Jennifer, you want to talk about those?
Well, we have our backup and data recovery. It removes all the software from what you have added, the skimmer said you add. Uh, we back up your data to avoid data loss. And if you need help, we have our protection program.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very important to get your computer cleaned up. And I know from talking to other people that this has happened to. Sometimes the banks require some kind of um, approval or authentication thing that they see that you actually have taken care of your computer because they just don't want you to, they're at risk as well, so they want to avoid anything on their end. So yeah, definitely, backing up your important data so you're not losing any pictures or documents. And then we just reload the computer, remove all the junk, and then the protection program that's been very helpful for a lot of customers I know. um, you've personally gotten calls where you've heard the message on people's
Lots of
computers.
them.
Yeah. And, and maybe that's why they came in the first place. But, and then they see it again. And, it's easier to pick up the phone and give us a call, and we can actually fix that over the phone. I don't know how long it takes you. very quick.
Yeah, it's really
And
fast.
just a few minutes to get that off the screen for us and get you back on your way, rather than having to bring it in here after it's too late and then losing, a day or two of time that you don't have your computer. So we just want to avoid that as possible. And if you're interested, the protection program might be a right fit for you. Well, that's it for this week. I think we covered a pretty heavy topic. We just want to avoid anybody, for lack of a better term, being screwed out of their money and things like that. So thanks for watching this week, and we hope to see you guys next time.
We're on a rant because it's been 35 years since we've introduced printers to computers, and we're still having the same old problems. Who among us hasn't cussed or thought about cussing a printer? In this week's Tech Talk, we'll get the skinny on why this is and what you can do to avoid printer problems. Welcome back. Welcome back from the bench report. Hope that you got a little bit out of that and a little bit of a tease there for next week's Tech Talk. Now that I got that straight.
Any questions or anything you guys thought was interesting in there, let us know in the chat.
Yep. We'll be glad to respond because Spencer's paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
To everything but the Blue Yeti, right?
Of course, yeah.
We're going to have at least one screw up a week, and this week we get to blame it on Spencer.
All right.
So, yeah, it's been kind of a week, hasn't it, Keith? Yeah. We spent most of our week doing Grow Nebraska stuff.
We did.
That was a lot of fun.
They had that, the MarkeTech Conference. They have it every year, and I was thinking, because remember the last few years, I think it was in the summertime or closer towards
I don't know.
June or whatever. But now, this year, it was the beginning of March. They promoted next year. It was the end of February.
Yeah, getting closer to the front of the year. But it was really well attended too. And it's worthwhile going to. I think. We've been to a lot of stuff, but I think that was probably one of the more worthwhile conferences if you're in a small business and you're in Nebraska. Honestly, I thought a lot of the people that were there, again, it's Grow Nebraska, so people that are going there looking for growth opportunities. And there were some people that had quite a bit of business acumen that were there, so that was kind of fun to actually listen and learn.
Yeah, and you meet people that are, the keynote speaker, obviously, Sarah Calhoun from
Red Ants Pants,
out of Montana, and she's a self-made woman, and did things
a
herself.
little town of 900 people, and she starts a multinational, pants company, and her whole shtick was that women are curvy and they don't fit into the Calhouns, and so she was going to create pants in this tiny little town and do all kinds of crazy cool stuff, wasn't she?
Yeah. And you talk about other entrepreneurs in Nebraska, you don't think about it all the time. Big businesses are always in what do you think of the Googles and then the Wall Street guys and things like that. But, out in Nebraska, and, you learn a lot of things when you go to these events. And, that was one of these things I actually learned and, thought was pretty interesting is the guy from Max Creek Winery, he makes wine out here in central Nebraska. And, it's easy to make wine in California. Try to do that out in central Nebraska.
Yep. And that's like that lady yesterday that I bought all the lavender stuff from. It's like Peggy loves lavender. And she goes, well, we went through 16 varieties of lavender until we found the 3 that actually will flourish in Nebraska. Yeah. So, anybody can make that stuff in California or Oregon or, wherever. But, Nebraska's kind of got its own little things, for particularly agriculture,
But, it just goes to show, and, the funny thing was when they talked about the agro-tourism thing, Nebraska was one of the last in the states that people thought to visit. But, in the reality, the grand scheme of things is, there are entrepreneurs in small towns and everywhere you go in America.
Do really well, there was that guy who did steaks, some kind of steaks. And then the last guy that in the last conference thing that I went to, he made like waffle mix, and it was like mostly yogurt and waffle. And I guess he had to like take it from something where it was a mixture with like a liquid mixture. And then he went 5 years figuring out with food scientists how to make it into a dry powder. And I guess his stuff is sold all over the world, like cruise ships and high-end restaurants. Doesn't do much in the retail side, so that's why we don't know anything. Heavenly Waffles was what he was. It was pretty cool.
I missed that one.
Yeah, well, that was the very last one that I was talking about. It was mostly bankers, but he was kind of interesting. You just gotta admire the entrepreneurs in Nebraska, because we're a pretty stubborn bunch. We want to do well and live the life, because Nebraska has it's a great life here in Nebraska. Good people, good work ethic for the most part.
Yeah, speaking of the life in Nebraska, like the MarkeTech was about like the businesses and things like that, but there are people that have lifestyles out here, and one of the things they do, like they have the big keynote speaker and the host and the panelists and all that, but everybody has their own they get these little groups of people that talk about things that are important to them. And one of the ones that I went to was they were talking about trails and bike riding and down these trails, and these people were creating these events and things that people can do in Nebraska. And listening to this guy talk, he was like, these events that they put on here in Nebraska, they attract people from hundreds states away. He was talking about people coming from like Alabama to do a bike ride in Nebraska. And I was like, wow, that's insane, because the reach that we have out here in these small communities, and I'm sure other states have small towns that can put on these events as well, that have access to these resources. You just got to get the right people in the right room and make something happen.
And it's like, you even think of McCook, like Buffalo Commons, like people come from all over half acres to go to that, because it's quite an event, for our little town. And so there's all kinds of little hidden gems here in Nebraska. And, I kind of like that one thing from the Nebraska tourism, like we would install mountains, but they get in the way of the view.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And I love mountains, don't get me wrong. Like Keith will tell you, like anytime I get to go, I'll go. But, and we're not for everybody, are we?
Not for everybody, no.
But yeah, it was a good time. There was some great breakout sessions that we went to. We did one, like the vertical video one. I kind of thought that was kind of cool, where, most of the stuff that we film here is like 16:9. So you got to like turn your phone to the side, to actually look at the whole shamir. But the bulk of the video now that's out there is vertical. So like you don't have to flip your phone. You're like scrolling away and oh, okay. So that seems to be quite a bit of it. I don't know that we'll be, switching a whole lot of our stuff to that format, but some of our stuff that we're planning on doing a little bit more regularly during the week, we might do in 16:9. Just pull the phone out. You don't really have to do anything special either. That was the one thing that struck me, is like some of those videos that got thousands of hits were like just downright stupid. I can be stupider than that. Can you be stupider than that?
I don't know.
Shall we try?
One way to find out, yeah.
But like you don't have to. I think the whole point that the presenter was trying to make was like you don't have to make things really complicated to make them good. So that was a good one. And you went to one with the star people, like Dark Skies.
Yeah, the Nebraska Star Association.
Yep.
Yeah,
Star Dance.
That was pretty interesting.
Star Party.
Yeah, because you learn about, like, they kind of split their little session up into two different things, where they think about light pollution and how much natural light, or not natural light, but unnatural light, I should say, has been made. And they had a map of the United States, and they showed it was like pretty much everywhere east of like Lincoln and Omaha to the coast is like lights everywhere because you got cities, Chicago, Detroit, Nashville, all the big cities are out in the east. And then once you get out here into like the central and western part of Nebraska and onwards to the west coast, there's a lot less light out here. And it's one of these guys taking advantage of it because they like looking at the stars. And one of the funny stories that they said was there was people that, they were from the east and they had never seen stars. And you had said that to me too. Like you grew up in Canada and the night sky was different.
It was very different. And like Peggy was saying that like she had, in high school, they had a Japanese exchange student and he came out here and had never seen stars. And it was like, it's like one of those simple things that really separates us from nature, and you're talking about the health benefits of, actually having darkness, because of the circadian rhythm. You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, because, out there in the light and then with the phones, people are sitting on their phones and, I'm guilty of it too. I sit before I go to bed and I scroll on my phone, read news stories, watch funny videos, whatever. But, that does have an effect on your mental health and, like you said, your circadian rhythm where, you're watching videos, 1 hour goes by, 2 hours goes by. And, even going back to what the lady said in the video thing that we did, she said, most users spend about 2 hours a day on their social media.
And mindlessly scrolling.
Yeah.
Because how much of that stuff do you even remember? Honestly.
Yeah, but maybe one thing a day, but then, 2 weeks go by and you forgot it. But, if an hour of that you're spending, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and you're scrolling through your phone, I guess that maybe that 2 hours is an average because there's times I catch myself watching, you just go down a rabbit hole and you watch 3, 4, 5 videos. And
we're going to call it light crack.
Yeah. The next thing you know, you're
it's crack
down there. But,
no crack. Say no.
And, the other thing, it wasn't just the phones and the devices and the social medias. Some places are, manufacturers and companies that they're open 24 hours a day. And,
the lights are on inside, no windows, no nothing.
Yeah. And so these people just get, it does have an effect on your health. And, it's tough to manage that, especially when it comes to your career. There are some things you can do. The big thing they was talking about, and this was really strange because you had a lot of these towns that go through these like projects to make their street lights better and things like that. And one of the things that they would do is they'd make these really ornate street lights that you'd see like, back when people were making street lights, 150 years ago, these really cool looking street lights. Well, nowadays what they would recommend is you put these covers over these lights and give yourself directed light instead of the light dispersing out all the way like flat and sideways, whatever. They want it directed down like at an angle, and that way you're focusing the light on something and the light isn't going up into the sky, creating this light pollution where you can't see the stars. And so they were really big on that. And I don't know why I found it interesting, but I'm just fascinated by, the night sky and stars and things like that and putting on different events. And, one of the things that Nebraska wants to promote is these different types of events.
The dark sky kind of stuff. Yep, absolutely.
And the other part of that was they don't just talk about the stars and things like that. They combine these events together with other partners. So the Nebraska Star Party would partner with the Niobrara Wine Company, and they would put this event on where you can come out and do a wine event. And hey, while you're out here, we're going to put this little star show on as well. And so you get value, not just by stars, but there's wine, there's an outdoor experience. There's a lot of things that come together, and
that's true entrepreneurship, where you see something where somebody would really enjoy just unplugging, completely unplugging. And there's a lot of value in unplugging. And I'm a big tech guy, don't get me wrong, but I love going to those places where my phone doesn't work.
Yeah.
Exactly, I really do. And then I went to one with the Malley Group, Steve Malley, out of Lincoln, and you didn't go to that one. He's a marketing guy, and he was like absolutely fascinating with how he thinks. Just really intrigued with how he thinks, and we'll probably end up at some point working with him. just unbelievable smarts with how to communicate with people your story, because everybody has a good story, but some of us are better than others at communicating that to people. And that's why we have marketing people that do that. And speaking of marketing, we got some new marketing coming out, right? A new website.
Yeah.
Just finishing up.
Yeah, we've been working on that for most of the beginning of the year here. And
About 6 to 8 weeks, yeah.
yeah, now they finally, we've got all the stuff we need to get to them, and they're going to put the final pieces together. And yeah.
To go live on Monday. Yep, hope to go live. You just finished the last few contact forms, and I made sure that the video was uploaded for our security and shoestring page. So if you're wondering what that is, give us a call or send Spencer here a chat. We'd be glad to explain it to you.
Of course.
But yeah, we're going to be doing that. And but man, when we come back from one of those things, we end up paying for it, don't we? I had
Yes.
a nice sticky wicket this morning. I did tickets all morning. You did video. You did the bench report with Jennifer.
To the bench report.
Then he went for lunch.
Yeah.
And I did the tickets. I did pretty good though.
So what kind of tickets did you have?
Well, I had one where the person couldn't connect to the cloud, so I got that one. I got one where the files wouldn't show up on their shared network drive. I got that one. And then there was another one. Oh man, let me think about this. The person that was having difficulty with that same computer that wasn't able to get its files from the file share, her background was black, so I fixed that. And then, we had somebody with accounting CS, like an accountant program, and they couldn't log in because they hadn't run the desktop setup for their application. And so it was a couple steps back from the latest version. And once I kind of explained to her, she knew where to go. She went, "You are smarter than the average bear." And she like banged on it. And so I helped her through it because there were a couple little things where it wanted her to reboot the computer and this, that. The other thing is, hey, listen, I'm going to hang out with you until, you are able to get into your program as you expect. And that's like a little value add. I could have just like said, okay, cool, you know what you're doing, and called it that. But I would rather spend time with that client and make sure they're able to do everything they need to do before we hang up. So yeah, what was that, 4?
That was 4.
But the one ticket was like 2 hours. It was a difficult one because things just kind of, there was no clue as to why this thing wasn't working.
Just like you said, even when you checked the event logs, there's nothing stood out that's like
No, zero.
there was an error or some kind of warning message. You said everything was working fine, and then I think you
Yeah, I
beat
figured
your head on it enough, and then found out, this doesn't look right.
This doesn't belong. Yeah. So we're gonna go into our sponsors ad here. So hang around with us for the meme of the week and our cat video coming up. Well, no, cat picture.
As always.
Hey, have you heard about Security on a Shoestring? It's the right size protection for many small businesses that don't have a lot of budget but want the basics. So what does it include? You get security with next generation antivirus, cloud-based firewall, a complete set and forget daily backup. Imagine having your own pit crew that monitors your computer's health. You'll have the latest patches and updates. We also perform routine maintenance on your PC automatically. You'll get access to us from 8 to 5 Central Time on a pay-as-you-go basis. Is Security on a Shoestring affordable? Security on a Shoestring was designed to fit any budget. You pay only for what you use, nothing more. Join hundreds of other customers who trust Honor-Bound IT. Find out if Security on a Shoestring is a good fit for you. Call 877-814-6860. Again, 877-814-6860.
All right.
Yeah, Spencer time.
For the meme of the week this week, it says it's two flies sitting on a desk, and there's a guy holding a fly swatter above him, and it says, "Don't kill us. We've come from the future bearing an urgent message." And the name of it is Time Flies. I gotta give a good old.
But
party, of course.
Young Terry Carlson.
Thanks,
yeah.
Terry. And then what do we got for like kitty cat picture this week?
Ooh.
Kitty cat. So yeah, this is my pride and joy. Can you guess who my pride and joy is this week? Would it be
Peggy?
Well, she's my pride and joy too, but she's not a cat. Which one is my pride and joy? This is a trick question.
Jamie?
Yeah, that'd be Jamie. And this is him like on top of my suitcase looking pathetic because, you know, our cats know when we're going to go away for a day or two. And yeah, look at the look on his face. He looks like he's crying. Boo. He was happy to see me last night. He's all snuggled up.
One of the funny things is Greg, you told me, like, you know, when you got 8 cats, they come to you.
Yes, they do.
So, when you travel out of town, when you and your wife go out, you know, and you need somebody to come check on the cats, they come to you.
Yes,
Or if you have like a vet appointment, they come to you. You know, if you got one cat, it's probably not worth it. But
yeah, the vet does definitely come to us, and I think that's like a week or two away. But yeah, and we got like a really great cat sitter, McCook Critter Sitters. They do a wonderful job. She plays with them. You know, if they need meds, she gives them meds. You know, if she, you know, of course, the regular food, water, and potty thing. But, you know, just a little shout out to our friend Marilyn. We really appreciate you because, like, if we didn't have you, we would never be able to get out of town. So thank you, Marilyn, and hope somebody sees us and might call you. And if you need her number, I've got her on speed dial. So yeah, man, pretty close to like 30 minutes, 32 minutes. Yeah, it's time to like say, yeah, hot past a freckle.
yep.
It's time for us to say goodbye for a week, and we hope that you'll join us. Thank you next week. Thank you for visiting with us this week. Bye-bye.
Hey! Did you just hear that?